Okay, wow, it's been a while since I've done a stream. I mean, I've done videos in the last year, but I haven't really done a stream in quite some time. But how's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and it's been a while. It's been a while since I've done a stream, over a year. It's been a couple weeks since I posted a video. I think the last video I posted was a review on Weapons, which is an excellent movie that I highly recommend you still check out. One of the best movies of the year, one of the best horror movies of the year. But yeah, this is my stream to give you an update on some of the changes that I'm going to be making to the channel and what I'm still going to be doing, because I've been kind of thinking about what I want to do with the George. Do I just want to keep doing movies? Do I want to do more? I've tried basketball content, and yeah, I still kind of want to do it in the future, but I'm trying to figure out my approach to that. So it might be a while until I get back into that. But there's other stuff that I do want to get into on this channel. Now, before I get into that, I want to share with what I want to do in regards to movie reviewing, because there's a lot of movies I still want to review, older movies tied to franchises that I just haven't gotten a chance to talk about, and that could be because I was unmotivated at the time, or other stuff was happening where I was too busy to focus in on that movie. Like, I wanted to review the other John Wick movies, but I just didn't get a chance to do that before Ballerina came out. I hope in the future I can. I think I just got to review chapters 2 and 3. I want to review the other X-Men movies. I was supposed to do that last year. Never got a chance to do it. But the X-Men are going to be in Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, so I have a chance to do that next year, as well as review any other MCU movie I haven't talked about, which I think there's just a few that I haven't talked about or done a review for at this point. So I'll get into that as well for next year. Halloween's coming up as well. Some horror Halloween themed movies I want to review. I might actually get a head start on that this month, because last few years I've been in the mood to get into Halloween more around September. I don't know if it's because the stores just set everything up so soon, or I don't know. I've just grown to enjoy Halloween more than Christmas, so maybe I'm more eager to get into the spooky mood. So probably going to start reviewing horror movies and Halloween movies for the season earlier this year. Definitely want to get to Screams 4 and 5, because Scream 7 comes out in February. And I'd rather talk about a old Scream movie around Halloween, like I've done these last few years, than wait until, I think, February Scream 7 comes out. So I'll probably do that this next couple months. One movie that I do plan on talking about, probably be the next movie review that I do, or one of the next movie reviews, because I just rewatched the movie, is Shaun of the Dead, probably my favorite zombie movie of all time. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, more horror, Halloween themed stuff coming for September and the rest of October, because if I looked at the rest of the next couple months, and I had a whole lot of excitement in the theater side of things in regards to movies, new movies coming out. It kind of felt like the summer, there was a lot more to see this summer, and then it just kind of slowed down. In fact, the last time I went to the movies, which was last Tuesday, I saw Jaws, the 50th anniversary, in theaters. And I mean, I've already reviewed Jaws, so I don't think I need to review Jaws again. It's probably my most popular review on the channel. I mean, I was thinking of doing another review on Jaws. Maybe I'll do like an updated review, because that's another thing I want to talk about on this channel. Is I'm thinking of probably doing revised reviews on movies that I haven't reviewed in a few years, that I did reviews on a few years ago, because there's some movies where my opinion has drastically changed, or I've rewatched the video and I didn't like how it turned out. It could have been because I was still nervous. I do still get nervous, but I was even more nervous back then about talking movies, so maybe I just didn't like the style that I did the review on, how I sounded. Or I rewatched the movie, because I rewatch a lot of these movies at least once a year, and I found something else that I appreciate about the movie that I want to talk about more. So there's just some movies that I'm thinking about doing revised reviews on, whether they're movies I love and just want to share more of my love for that movie, or I just want to talk about that movie more. One movie that I have in mind is probably Clerks. I love Kevin Smith's View Askew universe, and I would love to do more stuff talking about that kind of stuff. So maybe I'll do revitalized reviews on movies like Clerks and Mallrats, or Clerks 2, or Clerks 3, or movies that, like, when they first came out I was positive on, but now upon rewatch or thinking about it, I'm noticing more problems with that movie. One movie in particular would probably be Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm not going to make a laundry list of every movie that I want to look back upon, because there's plenty of movies I do want to look back upon and re-talk about. But yeah, when that comes, it will come. I don't know if I'll do that with Jaws, because again, Jaws is actually probably one of my most popular review, most popular video. And maybe I'll go back and rewatch it to see if I covered everything that I want to see before I make that decision. But if not, expect a revised review of Jaws this week. And if not, probably Shaun of the Dead I'll talk about. Because again, I rewatched Shaun of the Dead. It's my favorite zombie movie. And I want to talk more about movies that I like. Although I'm not gonna, this isn't a dig at Chris Stuckman, who's my favorite reviewer. And Shelby Oaks is a movie that's coming out in the next couple months that I'm very much looking forward to. But I know some people are annoyed at Chris Stuckman's style of just reviewing movies that he thinks are good, not movies that are bad. So there's going to be bad movies I'm still going to talk about, whether they're new movies that came out or I'm doing a series. And no, this ain't going to be an open panel, because this is more focused on a channel update. I'm not really going to do an open panel maybe in the future. And usually I send links to people that usually come on my streams. So yeah, this isn't going to be an open panel. Sorry. This is just like thoughts of what I'm going to do with the channel kind of thing. Maybe in the future I'll do open panels. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I do want to get back into streaming. I'll probably always send links to people that want to come on my channel, which, it's crazy. Like 4 years later, I still have my crew that I appear on their channels. My friends like Aaron World Order and Blinded Braille, which shows you that you don't need drama to have fun in movie talk. We have fun movie talk on our streams, and I very much value that friendship and partnership that I've had with those guys the last 3 to 4 years on YouTube. Because I actually do want to get into movie talk in the state of stuff. So one of the reasons that I haven't really streamed in a while on my own channel, and why I've kind of like taken a step back, is because the way movie talk's been handled within the last decade has been so weird, fascinating, crazy. From fandom menace, anti-woke, what's woke nonsense from channels like Geeks and Gamers and Doomcock and Nerdrotic to, release the Snyder Cut, which I was for, and I'm glad we got the Snyder Cut, but how some in the Snyder fandom have behaved, and now it's, James Gunn, and don't get me wrong, I love Superman, I love Creature Commandos, and I like Peacemaker Season 2 so far, but now, like, things about the Gunn fandom, and it's just, to me, I don't like siding with fandoms. I just enjoy the stuff that I enjoy, whether it's James Gunn's work, which I do enjoy, but I'm not going to act like James Gunn's the best director out there ever. Although he's definitely one of the best with the superhero genre. I'm not going to overlove Zack Snyder just because I enjoy some of his work, but I'm not going to poke fun at Zack Snyder because I have problems with some of his work. That's not me. I don't want to do that. And I'm trying to figure out like how to approach movie talk, because there's a way to approach movie talk without, I guess you can say, simping for something or hating on something, where you can be critical whether you like it or dislike it. It's just a matter of how can I do it where I'm not going to or it doesn't lean into that. I'm trying to figure that all out, but I want to do more streams again. I do want to do like maybe like a week or 2 week stream show where I cover the movie news or entertainment news of the week or the last couple weeks, or maybe do short streams on breaking news kind of things. I want to get back into that because I do miss it. I do want to do more of that stuff again. I do miss having streams on here, but also my schedule did get busier this past year. So I think the last stream I did on this channel was my Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler review stream. That was the summer of July 2024. Since then, things kind of changed where I did more trips. I've done a few more vacations. I got more work hours because I got a second job in the mornings before I go to my usual job. And so there were days where, you just don't feel like doing a stream after work because you're tired, or, because I have to leave earlier in the morning, I had to go to bed earlier because I don't want to sleep in and all that. And also, I don't want to dedicate my weekends to just doing full on streams. I want to enjoy my weekends because it's the weekends where I do get to go to the movies or have a chance to revisit a movie in case I'm doing like a review series for an upcoming movie like I was doing with Karate Kid, the Captain America movies. Because I don't always have time on the weekdays after work to go watch a movie. If I'm going to watch a movie on the weekday, it's probably going to be a shorter movie to watch that's like less than 2 hours. Or if not, go and play a video game or watch a TV show. And also when basketball season comes, there's some nights where I watch basketball. So I'm trying to figure out like how can I put it together a schedule of doing some kind of streaming show and what kind of topics I want to cover, because I don't, as I said before, I don't want to make this channel just about movies or even basketball when I figure out how I'm going to approach basketball content. Because this summer, as well as, relaxing, I mean, most of the summer I've been working. It's really been the last couple of weeks of August and these first couple of weeks of September that I've been relaxing before I go back to work. I've not just been rewatching movies, but I've been taking day trips, going to Atlantic City, the beach, the boardwalk, New York City a few times for like day trips and all that. Going to the mall, going to the movies. But I've also been doing a lot more reading this summer, whether it's been comic books. I've also been reading manga. I've been reading Dragon Ball Super manga, getting into manga after just watching anime for many years. But also, I've been reading Legend of Zelda manga. I've been reading Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess because I never had access to this stuff growing up. Like where I used to live, we didn't really have comic book stores, or like the bookstores we didn't have these comic books. And now I have this great comic book store that's opened at my mall back in 2021 that has great comic books. I've been buying more stuff from Midtown Comics. There's a comic book store where like it's a few train stops away from me that I usually take, and the train doesn't even cost me money to take the train because it's like a MTA kind of train. So I usually go there sometimes. And the comic book store that I go to in the mall, it's the same one where I buy my Funko Pops, which, by the way, when it comes to Funko Pop videos, because it's been over a year since I've done the last one, I think I'll do a stream of my whole Funko Pop collection, but I think I'll wait until either the end of this year or beginning of 2026, because I'm expecting to probably get some more because my birthday's coming up. Christmas is coming up. I usually ask for Funko Pops around that time, but I've gotten a lot of sweet Funko Pops lately that I do want to share. So I'll probably do a stream on that as well. I'm not going to do videos on the Funko Pop collection because I like to see like people comment on it in the chat if they want to. See if they have these same Funko Pops, what they think about them, see if they recommend any Funko Pops for me to buy. So I'll probably start making the Funko Pop videos more into streams in the future. Maybe I'll make them like a every 6 months, 4 months kind of stream. I was originally going to do like a year one, but I think I'll do at the very least 4 to 6 months. Every 4 to 6 months, do a Funko Pop collection stream. But yeah, so I'm gonna probably do more of that. But it's not just the manga; it's the comics as well. I recently picked up at my comic book store, along with another Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess manga. They have the Spider-Man '94 comic out. That the first issue came out, and I want to read them. Probably gonna read it soon, and I want to do more reviews of that because I'm gonna share something. I did do a video, I think almost 4 years ago, talking about how I got into YouTube. I can't remember if I mentioned it because it's been so long. I didn't go back and rewatch the video. But I remember one of the ways I got into YouTube back in 2008. Wow. It was like the summer of me leaving 5th grade, going into 6th grade. And I think I've told this story before. I got into this weird rabbit hole of those fake Spider-Man 4 trailers because I think Spider-Man 4 had gotten announced before it got canceled in 2010. And there was just this rabbit hole, but it also led to me discovering reruns of Spider-Man the Animated Series that were posted on YouTube before they got taken down. And also people doing comic book reviews or toy reviews of Spider-Man toys and comic books. And this was before I got into reading comic books on a daily basis. There used to be this YouTuber, his name was Decompose, and he would do these like Spider-Man 101s, whether it was on Spider-Man characters, Spider-Man villains. He also did 101s on Batman characters, other Marvel DC characters, and he would like talk about these story arcs in comic books, like the Clone Saga, Spider-Man Brand New Day. And not that I want to replicate that, but I want to talk, but it kind of between that and just taking more time to read comics, graphic novels, and manga, I want to share my thoughts more on these stories because I also, a thing to share about me, I don't know if I ever mentioned it on this channel. In the summer, I do teach a storytelling class where I help kids from K to 5th write stories. And I figure for me, as someone who specializes in that these last few years and I've done a pretty good job with that, why not review books, manga, and comics, graphic novels, share my thoughts on them? Because I've been doing a lot of reading. I actually also recently picked up Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, the novel, because I've watched Lord of the Rings so many times throughout the years. And I recently just on HBO Max for the first time got a chance to watch the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings, and they were amazing. The Lord of the Rings is a fantastic trilogy. I decided I'm going to now read the books and see how the books are in comparison to the movies. I actually have never even talked about the movies on this channel. That's something I'm going to do in the future as well as the Hobbit movies. But yeah, there's plenty of books that I have that I want to keep reading, want to reread. I have a book to The Outsiders. I want to read that because I love The Outsiders movie. So I'm going to do that. Still got to read Dune Messiah because I read Dune after watching Dune for the first time back in 2021 when it came out. Now I want to read Dune Messiah because the movie on that is also coming out in 2026. As of right now, it can always get delayed between it coming out the same date as Avengers Doomsday and the possibility that another strike could happen in 2026. And I know the last time there was a strike, which was back in 2023, Dune Part 2 got delayed to 2024 because of the strike. So we'll see. But yeah, I want to do more reviews on comic book story arcs, manga story arcs. Get into that kind of stuff because for me, entertainment is not just about the movies, and the same thing goes with other stuff that I want to talk about on this channel as well. I've only done one video game review on this channel. I think it was Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and I had a lot of fun talking about that game. And I've also gone back into playing some games I love playing that I haven't played in quite some time. And I thought, why not do more video game reviews, whether it's old video games or new video games? Probably going to be more so the old video games because, first of all, it takes me forever to finish a game the first time I play it. And sometimes I'm a bit late into getting into the new game. Like I usually wait a couple years or a few years to get a new system because when a new system comes out, they're still making games for the old system. Like when the PS5 came out, PS4 was still making games. So it's like, why should I get the new system right away when they're still making games for this system? I mean, sure, some of the newer games are more likely going to be exclusives for the PS5, but I'm a patient gamer. But yeah, I do want to get into more gaming content. Definitely with Legend of Zelda. Because I enjoyed talking about Wind Waker. I did a Zelda stream where I talked about Zelda as well a couple years ago. But yeah, I'm reading Zelda manga. I want to talk about the other Zelda games, maybe do more Zelda content. I want to try to branch out, try different stuff on this channel. So there's that. Now, will I do videos on these characters specifically? Maybe. Depends on if I feel like it. I just want to focus more on the books and the arcs at the moment. Um, I do want to get into like television stuff as well. And I'm not talking about, and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to approach television on this channel because I could either talk about the episode of a show, go episode by episode, or maybe take specific episodes like why this episode's the best, why this episode's the worst, why this is the most emotional. I actually kind of do this for the movie nerd site that I write for, where I've actually done this a couple times with some of the shows I've talked about. Like I did an article on that episode of Drake and Josh. Josh is done, where Josh is done with Drake after Drake made him late for his chemistry exam. Why it was one of the most powerful episodes of like a Teen Nick show, or the Hey Arnold cartoon, why Arnold betrays Icky is considered the worst. But maybe I can do something like that because there's just some episodes of shows where it's like there's really nothing to talk about. Can you really make a video, even like a 4-minute video on this episode, if there's really not much to talk about? Maybe like a retrospect of the show, whether it's an old cartoon, live action show, superhero show, drama show, anime. There's a lot of options. There's some stuff that I do want to make a video on and talk about. I just need to figure out my approach to that. Now, I know like when I go on certain streams, sometimes it's like a stream based on a certain episode of a show. Like, for example, Peacemaker's out and my friend Aaron World Order does the streams on Peacemaker. I usually join in on those right after I watch the episode. And we usually talk about the episode. But I feel like also Peacemaker's a 8-9 episode season show where there's full length shows, whether they're animated or live action, that have longer seasons than Peacemaker that aren't tied to a cinematic universe. Because Peacemaker, started off as a DCEU show, and now it's a DCU show. So I feel like I got to figure out the approach to some of this stuff. How do I approach shows that take place in a cinematic universe? Like if I want to talk about an MCU show, how do I approach that? How do I in comparison to, let's just say I want to do a video on, like, let's say Batman the Animated Series. Or I think maybe a better example could be, I'm trying to think, like if I wanted to do a series review on Smallville, which is more, even though it's comic book influence, more traditional TV and not attached to a cinematic universe, compared to something like, let's say, Hawkeye or WandaVision or Peacemaker. So I don't know when that would start, because again, I'm trying to figure out my approach to that. Maybe I'll do a test run with a show that I like. I'm thinking probably maybe Courage the Cowardly Dog, since Halloween is around. And hi, myself in comics. Good to see you. This isn't going to be a long stream, but this is kind of sharing what I want to do on the channel, which is basically still talk about movies, but also maybe do revised movie reviews, talk about TV shows more often, do more video content in regards to comic books, manga, whether it's Marvel, DC, or anything else. Maybe some book stuff, because I'm starting to read Lord of the Rings. There's other books I want to read as well, or reread. Speaking of that, I know the Harry Potter series comes out, I think, next year, 2027. I think it's next year. Along with maybe doing revised reviews of some of the movies I talked about and reviewing the movies I haven't talked about. Maybe I'll do something on the books in particular, because there's a lot of differences between the books and the movies that I definitely want to talk about. I mean, Goblet of Fire and Half-Blood Prince are the biggest examples of the big differences between books and movies. So maybe next year I'll do a lot more Harry Potter content with the new Harry Potter show coming out. And maybe I'll do reviews on the Harry Potter show. But again, I got to figure out, am I going to do it by episode because it's a HBO Max show? Or do I just wait until the series is done and cover the whole thing? I got to figure that all out. As far as gaming, what gaming content will be first, or well, video game reviewing content, I honestly don't know. I am replaying Spider-Man 2018. I'm still playing Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That game takes forever to complete. So it kind of really depends on what video games that I finish up, what video games I feel like talking about on this channel. And I also mentioned before that I wanted to do more streams, and I might do a weekly or 2-week streaming show on the weekends, or maybe a particular weekday that works out for me in my schedule. I don't know how long that streaming show would be, by the way. First of all, it depends on whether or not I invite people on, if anyone wants to come on, if anyone does come on. Because the one thing I notice when I'm on a stream, and usually it's in good fun, we sometimes get off topic pretty easily, which is fine, because, we usually have fun conversations. Maybe I'll also do streams where I rank series as well. Maybe around when Harry Potter comes, I'll do a ranking on the books and then do a ranking on the movies. Maybe in preparation for Doomsday, I'll rank all the MCU movies from Iron Man to, I think, Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be the last one before Doomsday. Maybe I'll do a ranking after Brand New Day of all the Spider-Man movies from my least favorite to favorites. And maybe I'll also include the 2 animated movies, Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. 2 more ranking streams. I think I've only done 1 ranking stream on Kevin Smith's View Universe movies. Perhaps I should do more of these kind of streams. And also change it up. Maybe do top 10 1980s movies, or top 10 1990s movies. He's like, have some fun with it. Odyssey comes out next year, along with probably reviewing some Christopher Nolan movies. Maybe I'll do like a Nolan ranking movie, and this would include all of Nolan's movies, not just the Dark Knight trilogy and movies like Inception and others that have come out after that, but also include the following: Insomnia and The Prestige and Memento in that ranking as well, because Nolan made some really good stuff as well before, like the Dark Knight trilogy and Inception and Interstellar. So yeah, those always, yeah, no, they seem nice. Again, I want to try different stuff. I want to have fun with YouTube and streaming again, and experiment a little bit. Um, the Funko Pop streams that I mentioned before, where every 4 or 6 months I'll probably do like a Funko Pop collection video where I share all my Funko Pops, talk about the characters of the Funko Pops, why I like it, why I bought it, and maybe ask anyone that's in the chat, what Funko do you recommend I buy next? Or if, let's say, like I'm showing a Funko from, say, Transformers, if there's any Transformer Funko Pops that you recommend that I buy. I got quite a few Transformer Funko Pops, actually. I have some, I even have some Yu-Gi-Oh ones as well. So, like, maybe see if anyone recommends any Yu-Gi-Oh Funko Pops for me to buy, or NBA Funko Pops, or Marvel, Lord of the Rings. Got like a lot of different Funko Pops. I'm definitely gonna do a Funko Pop stream at the end of the year, or beginning of next year. Definitely gonna do one of those. And I'm also like, this is something that I've been thinking about for over a year now. So as I shared before, I write for the movie nerds, and maybe I can do a stream with my movie nerds articles. Talk about them, maybe read them to you guys, and then also share stuff about the topic that I didn't put in the article. Um, Obviously, there's some articles that have probably already aged. If it's on an announcement, then I probably won't talk about it unless the announcement's new. Like, maybe I'll do a stream this week talking about the Man of Tomorrow news and what I covered in the article on some of my speculation and maybe some new stuff that came out. I don't know if those movie nerd articles, if I'll have people on, maybe I will, depending on if I think the stream is long enough to have guests on to talk about the topic. That's really depends on in regards to having guests on. Like, how long is the stream going to be, and does it warrant having a panel on? Because there's some streams that do. Like, if you're doing like a spoiler review stream on a big movie, then yeah, it warrants having guests on because we can all talk about the movie. I've done that before a few times. I had people on when I talked about The Flash, Indiana Jones and not Last Crusade, and the Dial of Destiny. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium. I know these aren't the best examples, but they were movies that, whether you love them or hate them, I felt like warranted having a panel on. I had a panel on. We talked about them, and I think it worked out pretty well. We had a good time talking about them. So, and maybe we'll do like streams on older movies, see if that movie aged well or not, and is it still considered one of the best or not, or has it gotten better over time? And one thing I want to do this holiday season, one thing that I haven't done in the 4 years that I've been doing YouTube, talk about Christmas movies. I have not talked about Christmas movies on YouTube. It's crazy. And there's some Christmas movies I would really like to talk about on YouTube. I'll think about which ones, but definitely Jingle All the Way. I want to talk about one of the best bad Christmas movies. I definitely want to talk about Elf and Home Alone. Hopefully, I get to all of them this year. If not, that's okay. But I definitely want to visit those. But yeah, that's basically. I think that's basically all that I will pretty much cover in this update. I felt like I needed to do this because I haven't done a video in a couple weeks, and I didn't want to give anyone the impression that I had left YouTube or anything. No, I'm still on YouTube. I've actually been on my friend's stream last couple of weeks talking about Peacemaker. It's just gathering my thoughts, enjoying my time off, doing other stuff, whether it's revisiting movies, taking day trips, going to the movies, going to the store, read comic books, manga, figure out what I want to do for the channel. And also, like, weren't any new movies coming out, so it was kind of like, this is a nice little break, which is ironic because usually I use this time to try to make more videos. But I was like, I need to take a step back, think about what I really want to talk about on YouTube besides just movies, and try to figure out a better schedule because, I want to get more traction on the channel because it's not just gonna do it doing one video a week on a Sunday. Try to at least get maybe one weekday video that's not very long. Maybe do a stream every couple Saturdays or a Saturday a week. Maybe or Sunday, or maybe do a review on Sunday or Saturday. Try to spread out more. Try to get more content out. And try to be positive. I feel like there's so much negativity in fandom. It's like, it's funny even when a fandom is winning, it feels like they're still miserable. I don't get it. I have never gotten it, and I just want to get away from these silly fandom wars. I want to get away from negativity and not be like, I'm not pro Zack Snyder or anti Zack Snyder. I'm not pro or anti SJW content or whatever whatever the Phantom Menace talks about. Or even though I love James Gunn's movies, I'm not part of some James Gunn cult. I'm also not going to be a James Gunn hater. Just want to enjoy stuff, regardless of who the creator is. And look, if they make something great, I'll celebrate it and enjoy it. I mean, let's be real. There's other people to talk about when in regards to movie talk and movie news than just Kathleen Kennedy, Zack Snyder, and James Gunn. It just feels like those are like the main three names that are always just thrown in the mix. And maybe sometimes Rian Johnson or J.J. Abrams. I'm trying to think anyone else. Oh yeah, Kevin Feige. Yeah, no, I just hate the labels and all that. I just hate that. And, I just don't get the making hundreds of videos on hating Star Wars or hundreds of videos loving or hating Zack Snyder or hundreds of videos of what, Kevin Feige's going to do is the MCU doom and gloom. And it's crazy that people are still doing doom and gloom for Marvel because, yeah, I get it. The box office this year wasn't that good for Marvel. It was pretty rocky. But if I'm going to be honest, despite the box office, with the exception of Captain America Brave New World, which I don't even think was a bad movie. It wasn't a great movie, but I don't think it was a terrible movie. I think the MCU had a pretty good year this year. I mean, Daredevil Born Again I thought was pretty good. I thought Thunderbolts was pretty good. I really enjoyed Fantastic Four the first steps. I thought that was great. Probably number 10 in my MCU rankings, if I'm going to be really honest. Although, I would probably say Superman was probably my favorite comic book movie of the year. Peacemaker, as it stands, it's still too soon to say if it's better than Daredevil Born Again. Just to give my brief thoughts, if you don't watch my friend Aaron World Order's Peacemaker streams, I really liked the first episode. Second episode, I didn't care for his Peacemaker. This recent episode, I really loved it. And I do have some theories on Peacemaker. I'll share them. Maybe I won't. And that I think really make it interesting. It does tell me that I feel like Peacemaker is probably a deeper show than any of the MCU stuff. But again, I'm not hating on the MCU. I still love the MCU. And Spider-Man Brand New Day is probably my most anticipated comic book movie of next year. Even more so than Doomsday. Definitely want to do a stream on should we be concerned about Doomsday or not in the future. Maybe do a stream on Spider-Man Brand New Day. Which, that's another thing. One of the things I love doing on this channel was doing the Spider-Man No Way Home coverage of the rumors, of who got casted, the thoughts on the final trailer. I really had fun doing that stuff. And I do want to bring some of that stuff back, that energy, that wonder back. Because I feel like it's just been missing in some of these other movies. And I don't want to bring it back just for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I mean, Man of Tomorrow, I'm super excited for Man of Tomorrow in a couple of years. Like there's a lot. Like, I know the comic book movie genre has been on and off. I understand people feeling fatigued by it and all that. But I actually think it had a good year this year overall, but the DCU starting off well, the MCU taking a big step forward. This is stuff I got to cover in a separate stream probably, but it's just I feel like things are in a better spot than I think they were the last couple of years for the MCU and the comic book movie genre overall. But yeah, it's 42 minutes. I'm probably going to wrap the stream up because I don't want to start rambling. But basically, the content's going to be spread out more. I want to try to do more reviews during the week, not just on the weekends, one day a weekend. I want to cover other stuff besides movies. I want to do updated reviews on movies. I want to do streams on different topics, not just movie talk and movie news and movie speculation, but rankings and other stuff. I think maybe sooner than later, once I get a chance to reach Spider-Man 94, maybe I'll do like a quick video or stream sharing my thoughts on the comic. Maybe I'll do like a video sharing my thoughts on the first 3 Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess mangas I've read as well, because I've been reading that manga, because Twilight Princess is probably one of my favorite Legend of Zelda games, and I've been reading the manga of it, and I'm very much enjoying it. And I actually think maybe I'll get more into this if I do a video on the upcoming Legend of Zelda movie. I do want to talk about possibly how Legend of Zelda can have a blueprint for a movie that kind of ties into the mangas. But yeah, that's basically what I'm going to do with this channel, and also show some of the changes I made in the background behind me, because I've also been changing that up, adding some new toys in the background, new Funko Pops, some new posters, because I like to change things up. I like to have fun with pop culture. But yeah, that's all I just want to talk about. I'm still hanging in there. I'm still doing YouTube. Just need some time off to kind of plan out and think about what I really want to do with this channel moving forward. Kind of confirm if ideas I've had for months to a year, if I really want to do that. But they're going to happen. Halloween's coming up. I'm looking forward to this Halloween horror, spooky season of reviewing movies and all that. And we're going to have it started off this week with Shaun of the Dead. I'm not going to share what other horror movies or Halloween themed movies we're going to review. It's going to be a surprise. And maybe I'll get one of my first TV series reviews in with Courage the Cowardly Dog, which I think this time of year would be perfect to talk about that cartoon. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me in these last 4 years. And hopefully we can keep improving the content on this channel more and spread out, do more fun stuff. Please like and subscribe, or if you haven't, please share us with someone that wants to get into pop culture, whether it's movies, shows, video games, comic books, Funko Pops, manga, even books, you name it. And I hope to see you guys real soon. And by the way, I hope you guys had a great summer. And if you went back to school, you're in college or whatever, I hope you're off to a great start this semester. If you went back to work, I hope work's working out for you. I'll be going back to work soon. But yep, until the next video, take care, everyone.